we've been waiting all week long. It happened. SPF 30 is packed. The swim trunks are packed. And John Klingberg is headed to Robidas Island. But, man, this soap opera, in the last 2 weeks alone has been insane. Okay, so the first thing we know, he's actually truly injured. By all accounts, a lot of people have spoken on this. But number two, like, a lot of people are talking about the fact this guy may never play a game in the league again. Like, that's how hurt he is.
Dude, it's the weirdest thing in the world. Like, he's going about his business 1 week, everything's good, he's playing, and you're talking about the regular stuff you talk about with a guy like him, and then all of a sudden his career is over, career-ending injury. It's like, what are you talking about? How are you playing one day and your career's over? It reminds me of like the 70s where you tear your ACL and Bobby Orr style, your career's cut short and you can never recover and he might be done forever. Like, when the hell has that happened last, where a guy with, I understand they say he's been dealing with his whole career, but by all accounts, he's healthy as a horse the last couple of years, maybe.
Apparently it's nagging. It's been nagging his whole career.
Miami done forever. And I mean, it's weird that it came out of nowhere. It's weird that it just happened within the last how many months with Matt Murray. And both of them are contracts we'd maybe prefer to get rid of. In hindsight, I wish we didn't sign them. I think it was a bad signing. I don't think Tree Living was wrong in doing it. I just think it didn't turn out well. And now that you can pop them off the books, just like we did with Murray, I mean, think of how handcuffed we would be if we still had Murray, like, playing and not playing well, or being injured in and out of the lineup. And it just opens up that 4.1, I think it is, of his contract, which is pretty ideal right now. It's just like the stars kind of aligned. Absolutely. I'm not talking about him as a player. Sad to see. I'm wearing my media hat right now, not my hockey player, care about the players type of hat, but very sad for him. I'm sure he's shattered. And for anyone thinking that, oh, this is a conspiracy or they worked this deal together, dude, he's on a contract year. He has a 1-year deal. He's young enough where he could play many years in this league, still make a lot more money. He could have a resurgence with the right setup. And it's just something, I don't know, man, to come out of the woodworks like this. And maybe he was playing possum a bit, trying to hold on to another year and signing this contract. You'd think he'd try to work 2 years out of the deal, but doesn't. And then all of a sudden he's just like, guys, I'm fucked. I can't even play. And they're like, fine with us if you want LTIR it. Like, that works for all parties. I don't know, man, but it's odd to me.
Kissed 61. What happens on Robidas Island stays on Robidas Island. The fascination for me is like, this sort of works as like a mulligan for Brad Tree Living. All of a sudden, you've got like just over $4 million in cap to use. And, you're linked to Zadorov and Tanev and I guess to an extent Patrick Kane. But number two, like, I was reading social the last couple of days and a lot of people out there made some excellent points. So we like to joke about Robidas Island, but every player that's been sent to Robidas Island has yet to play another game in the league. And that includes Matt Murray, right? Stefan Robidas. The list goes on and on. Jared Cowan, they never played another game. But I think it's just like, it just so happens that it's Toronto that this keeps happening to. Like, most recently it was Jared Cowan a couple years ago. Same shit. He was fine one day, the next he's not, and you never hear or see from the guy again. Like, it really is bizarre. You're right on that.
It is, man. Like, give me someone else who just, like, out of the woodworks is like, career over.
Jeff Finger.
Fingy.
Did you play with him?
Oh, yeah. Fingy is such a beauty, man.
Can you track that guy down?
He like, literally what he wants to do is go back to his cabin in, I can't remember if it's Minnesota or Wisconsin, and just be in the trees and be left alone. Like, I remember sitting on the bus with him on the Marlies having some beers, and he talked about when he signed that, I think it was 4-year, $12 million deal.
Something like that, yeah.
And at the time it was so huge.
I think it was 414.
Yeah, and the second he signed it, someone chirped him on TSN. His phone started blowing up. He said, I had this black cloud over me the whole time of just negativity. He hated it, man. It was the worst thing ever. He goes, they just ran him out of hockey. He goes, I just want to, get this contract done and get the hell to my cabin. And I felt bad for the guy because he's such a quality human being. But yeah, he dealt with that too. Away he went. Lots of guys. It's odd that it happens to the Leafs all the time. I'm just happy that, it benefits the team right now. Like, on the fan side of it, that, like you say, who gets who gets a mulligan on a big D signing a couple of months after doing it. It's rare and odd, and it is what it is. So I hope we take advantage of it.
It's surreal to me that John Klingberg in Toronto lasted a grand total of 15 games. That's assuming he never comes back this year, but I'm also assuming the Leafs want to do something else with that money. So like, even, I mean, hypothetically, if he's good to go in a couple months, they'll find a way for him not to be good to go or be like dealt somewhere.
Yeah, so what do? He's on LTIR. They say, okay, we'll use that money elsewhere. They load up the cap, and then he comes back and you can't play because you're over the cap. You just
in the playoffs you
into
can.
Marlies. Yeah, do it. Tampa did and be 18 mil over the cap.
Yeah, but quite frankly, he's not Kucherov. I don't know if you know that.
Not.
He's not Kucherov. But
interesting, man. I was just shocked. Like when they started, like they said, oh, he's hurt and it might be big. I'm like, oh, weird. I wonder, like that's just Toronto media bullshit. And then all of a sudden it's like just everything on my feed could be done forever. I'm like, what? Where does this come from, man? And how about like the non-disclosure of the injury? Like, who cares at this point? Just tell us his ankle is absolutely mangled, or tell us his neck doesn't work. And like, what is the deal?
It's just befuddling. Like that's the best word I can use this. I said this with Stewie on Thursday. I'm like, I get it. Maybe he was injured, but that doesn't explain just the fact that we had a defenseman who was playing forward for the first 15 games of the season, right? Like people are like, oh, he was hurt. Give the guy the benefit of the doubt. I think anybody who's seen John Klingberg play the last like 3 years, even in his time in Dallas, like he was not great defensively. So that wasn't the reason why he stunk. Obviously, it hampered his play a bit, but let's not lose sight of the fact that he is not a good defensive defenseman, and people thought he was. I don't know why they thought he was, but he was always going to be an offensive guy. I think he did a adequate job running the first power play unit. That's about it. I view him as a number 7 defenseman because he can't play D. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.